guys, to everyone. I'm Ada
I'm Lucia.
from BULLDOZER, and today we have again the huge honor to have with us AC Wild from BULLDOZER. Hi, AC, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
We are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are pretty good. We are here to talk about the book that you wrote, that is Hereticus, which is a sort of a bio of BULLDOZER, but as well, it digs a little bit as well in your philosophy, in your style, in your background. And it's really interesting because first I have to say that the artwork, let's start from the aesthetical part. The artwork is beautiful. Let's see who the people make it see better. Who did the artwork?
Some Polish guys.
Okay.
Uh, Actually, I made, I wrote it originally in Italian
Okay.
in 2000, I think 13 or 14. I don't remember exactly, but about 10 years ago. And last year, a Polish guy wanted to translate it, translate it in Polish, and
It's
they
well in
already
Polish?
released, yeah, in Polish. The first yeah, it's this one. I can show you. This is the the Polish version, and yeah, this is the first
Oh,
uh,
okay, because
page,
it's different.
which is different.
It's
Uh,
different.
it's almost the same, but uh, you can see here.
Okay.
Here is it's
Well,
in
yeah.
Polish. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And but this
that's
is
and I was really uh, surprised about the quality
of the
of
printing,
the
yeah.
pictures and everything, because here, I can show you. This is the Italian version, but
Okay.
it's very
Normal.
cheap. It's no
Yeah.
picture, no color
No
picture,
picture. So
and
there are
also
standing pictures and photos
the
inside.
quality of the picture is really bad. I mean, it's a very cheap, and
Printing.
actually,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. I mean, it's better than nothing, but I was not really satisfied about the
With the
quality yeah,
of the
of the
Italian
images.
print. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So I was so
yeah.
surprised, and I asked the guy to make uh, another two version, one in English and one
Okay.
in Spanish. Actually,
Okay.
we have also. It's just released, and
So now.
this is the Spanish
Okay.
version. I don't know how to show.
Okay. 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 I'm going
So
to do as well.
we have in total we have four editions, and three of them are deluxe. So
So this one that I am having is a deluxe as well.
yeah.
That's in
Only the
yeah.
Italian is the cheap
Like
version.
usual,
Yeah.
like usual. Yeah. I mean, it's because
Yeah.
we have gold in Italy, but as always, we can't, dig in our gold. We have always to go to the field of the neighbor is green. That's how we say in Italian. Dell'erba del vicino è sempre più verde. That's what we say.
Yeah, exactly.
That's because we don't look to our garden. But of course, like I said, like speaking about the artwork, there is some because of course, like there's a lot of philosophy in your life as well, which is beautiful. You had some philosophy or some meanings in the artwork as well. You wanted to give it the book, like the artwork itself, like you in the snow, some
Yeah, I
meaningful.
mean, yeah, because I wanted to make the picture for the cover in a glacier in Switzerland, where I
Okay.
used to go since I was a little kid. I'm a son and grandson of two climbers who were not very famous, but quite known in the climbing. My father was fellow of Walter Bonatti, who is
Oh, Walter Bonatti, yeah,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
of course, with the rest of
He
it.
climbed with him for 1 year, so it was very. Mm, he was also called to go to the K2 when they conquered I mean, the most prestigious mountain of the world, which is the most difficult. It's still considered the most difficult mountains to be climbed, and but he could not go. So
Parents
uh,
proud of.
yeah, so Bonatti and a friend of him who died
Yeah.
10 years ago, called Gallotti, went to the K2, and the Italian could conquer in 1954 that mountain. So I'm not a climber, but I really love the mountains, and I
Yeah.
wanted um, to make a picture of me in a glacier. Actually, that part of the glacier is melted, so it doesn't exist
There's not
anymore.
anymore. So
No,
I
no.
mean, when did you take this picture?
About 10 years ago, and it's already gone. I mean,
Oh,
the glacier melted 100 meters every uh, in 5 years, something like this. So
it's
actually,
disappearing.
it's only
Oh,
stones
only
nowadays.
stones. And
It
we're
Yeah.
complaining about this
So
here.
you have to go higher to see
Glacier.
some ice
Yeah,
in the summertime.
yeah. But that's
That's
really sad.
the destiny of the glaciers
Yeah,
in this planet because of the global warming.
yeah, of course.
That's a big problem. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, so you pick that picture as well. And of course, I mean, it's main the title, like I said itself, is bulldozer and other heresies. And
Yeah.
with heresies, we go more to the title, so Hereticus,
Yeah.
because of course,
Exactly.
like I was mentioning you before, starting the
Yeah.
interview,
Exactly.
in the
It
yeah, in the chapter, there are of course at the beginning a little bit of your story, and you mentioned the
To Ravi Shankar.
Ravi Shankar, yeah. You
yeah.
mentioned beginning Ravi Shankar, so we wanted to know like if he had some kind of influences on you.
Uh, can you repeat, please? Because there's
Uh,
some noise in the audio.
Ravi Shankar, yes, some
Ravi Shankar.
influences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Ravi Shankar, actually, when I was about 15, 14, 15, I was a big fan of, let's say, prog music, modern rock.
Okay,
And my favorite, uh, let's say, music was, say, Yes,
okay,
King Crimson, and of course, Mahavishnu Orchestra, uh, uh, which was a kind of uh, let's say it's a jazz with some evolution. You know, it's
okay.
kind of
Kind of sort of a progressive
yeah.
orchestra as well.
So actually, Ravi Shankar was a big influence for John McLaughlin, the guitarist of Mahavishnu Orchestra, and of course of George Harrison. And I was really amazed by him. I bought a lot of records, and I had the possibility to meet him when he played in Milano. But the
Exactly,
concert,
because you mentioned
there
that in the
was
book. Yeah.
there were riots, political riots, because the concert was organized by the Communist Party, but
Okay.
some extra parliament, let's say, extreme left
Left.
wing,
Okay.
wanted to make a sabotage, and
Okay.
they created a big riot. And of course, the police stopped everything when there were very big riots. And so the concert lasted maybe 10 minutes, no more, and they had to stop. But I had the possibility uh, um, to go in. I went in the backstage, and I could meet Ravi Shankar when I was 15, I think.
Really,
Uh,
that's a good opportunity.
and
I mean,
he
that's
was extraordinary man because he was very humble, very, and he was. I mean, his technique, his music was really, really great. I mean, it's a very extraordinary. Um, musician.
Yeah, and
I mean, Indian classical musician.
yeah. So that's why you choose him like to start the book because it's one of the
Yeah,
first.
yeah. I
Yeah,
started book, yeah, with this because actually uh, I wanted to point how sometimes politics try to destroy the culture,
exactly.
regardless if it's
That's
left
why.
or right wing, or but I mean, uh, since um, the period of the uh, let's say scholastic, when the scholastic philosophy,
Okay.
which was the Holy Roman Empire,
Okay.
Charles, I don't know in English, Carlo
Yeah,
Magno,
Italian, it's okay.
Charles the Great. I mean, he was
Charlemagne.
very fanatic of Christian culture, and they created
Yeah,
the school to make our brain like in a
was.
cage, you know.
Yeah,
And they wanted um,
indoctrinate.
to stop any culture except the Christian. So he was persecuting any person who was not Christian. He killed a lot of people who refused to to join the Christian
The Christian
religion.
culture. Yeah.
So yeah, he was a kind of Daesh, ISIS, and actually the books, history books, told him, oh, he created the unity of Europe, but it was
Maybe the concept,
a really
the
bad
geographical
dictatorship.
concept of Europe,
Yeah,
maybe.
but that was just an
Correct?
empire
Yeah.
with no freedom at all, with a very um, strict culture, with no open mind, no possibility to
Exactly.
create new ideas. Just
Exactly.
follow the dogmas, and
Yeah.
that's we still have some of this culture nowadays in the Western
In society,
culture.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying,
Lo-
and it was very significant the fact that uh, a political conflict, which was occasionally conflict between extreme left
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
left
saying.
wing, but they stopped the culture. They
Yeah.
stopped a great concert. That's the big problem. Sometimes I don't know in English, ideologia
Ideology.
and fideism in politics is, I think, comes from the scholastic philosophy,
Yes,
and
of course.
actually want to make the people follow one stream and don't want to
Yeah.
let the people
Yeah.
develop their creativity. That's the
Our
main
critique.
point.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
nowadays they use different
Way.
different ways uh,
Social media.
to make the people a slave,
Yeah,
uh, and
that's
yeah,
true. Few people
that's a
open.
problem.
That's
So
what.
my philosophy is heresy. Heresy, historically, were the people who refused to follow the mainstream and wanted to follow their ways. And many of them had been persecuted and killed, burnt alive, or beheaded.
Yeah,
There was a very big persecution of the heretics in
and
the
in all these.
and the witches. I mean, the
Yeah,
witches were the female
here.
heretic.
I mean, I should be born in the stick, being a naturopathy, naturopata in Italian. Being like that, I should be burned in the stick right now. But I wanted to know if in the, can I say, in all these people who spoke in the past, there is someone that really um, capture your ideology or your point of view, or these people who've been accused of the heresy. Maybe some, I
Yeah,
don't know, some historical figure or I don't know, scientific, anyone that really you think that was like that's not fucking fair. That man or that woman was a genius, brilliant, and was condemned to that, sentenced to that.
yeah. Of course. I mean, I uh, really, I'm a really big fan of Giordano Bruno, who was a very famous heretic, and mm, I think he was a genius. He had very important intuition about the infinity of universe, and he wanted to promote the development of science. Science was called magic at that time, but it was the
Yes,
free research of
yes,
the
exactly.
phenomena and free research of study the nature, the physics, the astronomy, any kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, that was the period of the counter reform when after the several reforms in Europe, in England, in Switzerland, Calvinism
German, yeah, yeah.
and evangelic
All
Lutheran
exactly.
reform. There were several different reforms, and the Catholic Church tried to um, stop
Oh,
these reforms, and they created a very strict uh,
discipleship.
Inquisition system,
This-
which
It
was
was called the
persecuting
Saint
any
Inquisition.
any person thinking differently. That was, I mean, one of the worst period for the human
We have
kind
it. And
in,
the one
in
we have in
yeah
Sicily, the
yeah
court of
absolutely
Inquisition, we have that in Palermo, in the capital. And that's supposed to amazing because when you go into the city, you were, just attracting the sheep, for example, entering into the wall of the city. And one of the first things that you will see was the court of Inquisition. What amazing things to see people executed in the when you enter into the city. And still today you have all these wall, like the graffiti, the people incarcerated, they were written, and they are amazing. There are poetry there. There are amazing portraits made by humans, put in there by the church. Even just because there was something, for example, a woman, she was taking the ostia, I don't know how to say in English, like 3 times per day, or just breaking it, she was heretic for that. So she was put it there. Anyone, even if you just were eating lavender, probably drinking lavender, you will be called heretic. But there was a lot of the poets, and it went on and on until I think 17th century, no, 18th century, I guess.
yeah. And the same problem actually started, I think, in with the Holy Roman Empire, because
Yeah,
even at the time of Francis of Assisi,
yeah.
now it's called San Francisco, San Francis, I don't know.
Everyone is sent in Italy.
He was, several centuries before Giordano
Yeah,
Bruno, and yeah, at that time there was a crusade, a
yeah.
very famous crusade against the Albigesi or the Cathari, I don't know in English, but it was
I
a
think,
population in France
okay.
who joined different kind of um, Christian mixed with Buddhist culture, and the Pope, the same Pope who accepted the
A crusade.
Francis,
A French.
uh, promoted a crusade very cruel, and he gave the order to kill everybody, any
That's a
human
block.
being,
That's
including children,
child. And yeah,
anybody in the territory of the I don't know in English it's Qataris or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Albigenses, I
That's
don't know.
Albigenses.
Anyway, you can find in
Albigenses.
encyclopedia easily,
Yeah.
and of course uh, the general of the army said, "But you're going to kill 30% of the people who is um, Catholic and they are faithful, they are not heretic. Why do you want to kill everybody? And the Pope replied, it's not a big problem because God will bring, the
Them again.
non-heretic to heaven. So it's not a problem. So actually, I think that Pope was worse than Hitler or Stalin or whoever. And he was a Pope. And the history remembers him like like kind of a nice person who accepted the new order of Francis. And actually, Francis was a kind of heretic too, and he used a different strategy to promote his ideas. And he was very smart, and he did a great. I mentioned in my book, he did a great thing during the Fifth Crusade, which took place in Egypt, because the Islamic power was concentrated in Egypt. So the crusade took place in Egypt, and Francis wanted to try to make a peace treaty between Islamic and Christian. And actually, he could meet the Sultan, who was the main leader of the Islamic world at that time. And the Islamic leader was so impressed by the person of Francis that he accepted a treaty of peace, and he signed. He gave some present to Francis, which those presents are still in the dome of Assisi, Basilica of Assisi. Those presents are still there, but the signed treaty of peace was destroyed by the Christian, because the Christian said we are right and God will make us win. Actually, the Christian were beaten, were destroyed by the Islamic army in that crusade.
That's really.
That's to show how the culture was so arrogant at that time. I think it was more or at least the same of Hitler and Stalin, or Pol Pot or whoever, any dictator oppressing people.
Yeah, all these people, I mean, in the Christian world, they didn't do anything even when there was Stalin or Hitler at the power. They just watched. That's all they did. However, they did that in the Christian history, Catholicism history, because when we had in Sicily Frederick II, that he went as well into a crusade, but he was more a peaceful man. He was a peaceful emperor, and he was under we can say the regency of Innocent III. He was basically having, the blessing of the Pope. He went there in a talk with the Sultan, and the Pope didn't like it because he gained the peace with talking. And the Pope said, "See you soon," and he got extradited. I don't know how they say in English. Just bye-bye from the Christianity world. So because maybe to Christians back then and maybe today they didn't like talking peace in a normal way.
The religions many times were enemy of peace, and that's a big contradiction. I mean, in the gospel there are two. There's a big contradiction. One contradiction is the speech of the mountains, where the people who's promoting peace will be rewarded. But in another context, he says, don't believe I came here to bring peace, but I bring the sword. So the father will be enemy of the son, and etc., etc. So there's a big contradiction. Actually, in Islam, there shouldn't be that contradiction, because Al-Salam is, which means the peace, is one of the 99 names of Allah, of God, in the Quran.
Okay.
So actually, if God says, my name is the peace,
Exactly. Why we
and
should
actually
be
they
involved?
they take hadith with in which the prophet says jihad is the main way, but jihad doesn't mean war.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
But many people use Islam to oppress
An excuse.
people
Yes, of
and to
course.
make
Yeah.
war. Not all,
Yeah.
of course. I know a lot of great
No,
Muslims,
of course,
which I respect. I
like
know a lot of them.
Christian.
And actually,
Yeah.
Islam could be, according to the good people, could be a good,
Religion.
respectful. I mean,
Religion.
there are good Muslims, but there
Yeah.
are very terrible
Yeah.
people
But
in
what
that
is, yeah.
family. It's the same with the Christian. It's the same with the
With
Jewish.
everyone. Yeah. It's the same with
With
everyone.
also
Even with
also
pagan.
the Buddhism. I
Yeah.
mean, there are a lot of conflicts between Buddhists. In the
Yeah.
past, uh, there were
Hinduism. Yeah.
warrior monks. I
Of
mean,
course. Warriors.
and
Yeah.
actually, the Mahatma Gandhi was killed by a Hindu uh,
Okay.
person,
I
and
know.
he was Hindu. He was a very good
Peaceful
person,
as
but
well.
he was killed by a religious
Yeah.
fanatic.
But
That's the main problem
yeah.
uh, because we are kind of. I mean, there was a big intuition by Giordano Bruno. He said
Yeah.
there's a kind of uh, power who make the people oppressed,
Okay.
and they do not realize they have a conscience, they have a soul,
Mm.
and they disregard it. So the
Yeah.
people prefer to follow a way instead of looking for their conscience.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the biggest problem. So
Exactly.
what I'm trying to tell in this book
Yeah.
is uh, just use your brain. Don't
Exactly.
uh, mm, I mean, don't accept a dogma as the best way. Just test
Use your brain.
everything. Just follow your conscience.
Yeah. Of
And
course.
if even if your conscience is telling you to make a very crazy choice, just do it.
Yeah.
And in the book, I
Yeah.
many times I made the choice and I bet on the loser, and I got a lot of good feedback.
Yeah.
And my
And
greatest satisfaction comes from my choice
yeah.
to bet on loser,
Yeah. And
because I felt that the loser had good potential, could do very good thing, and
your
many
father.
times I had very good
Result.
rewards. I had very
Yeah.
good, sometimes also success. Yeah, in in some field I had success too. In some field I also made money.
You are one of the most
I don't feel ashamed
respected.
about that. I mean,
No, you are
by
one of the most
choosing
respected person in the
someone who was
yeah.
considered a loser.
But you are, if we ask to anyone of in Italy and more outside Italy, South America, uh, about AC Wild, they know you and they recognize your own worth as not only musician, as a philosopher, viewer. Let's say like that. People, someone that has its own identity and its own way of being. That's something to be really, I think, grateful for because I mean, not everyone is known in South America, for example. And one thing that I really liked about the book is that you start, of course, I'm not gonna reading because people that should read it should read it. You started speaking about your religious path that in
Yeah,
a part changed in a night with a dream you had.
yeah.
So just mention something really brief about this dream, maybe just to capture a little bit to the readers the the
Yeah, I had a conversion, and I became a very uh, mm, maybe at the beginning I was a little bit fanatic,
okay.
but I had a vocation, and I felt I was was called to be a monk and a priest, and I started going to seminar where the monks, Franciscan Cappuccini is one of the three Franciscan order, um, and I started going to their seminar every afternoon after high school, and I was going to mass every day. I was praying a lot every day. Um, and I was studying a lot of theology, a lot of philosophy, and my I mean one how can a spiritual father,
I just remind that you
sometimes
wrote as well. Yeah,
I think in Italian, and
but it's
sometimes
normal. It's normal. It happens. Very
became
Italian.
a very important teacher of theology. He was teaching in Gregorian University in Rome, and he was president. I mean the main director of the second most important theology university in Rome. I think it was called University Antoniana, something like that.
Antoniana.
And he was a great uh, expert of the very first roots of the Christian communities. And I still have a good opinion of that man, because he was very fair, he was very honest, and he was very respectful. He never criticized what I did after I left. I left
The path,
the path. Yeah,
the vocation you had.
exactly. And what happened to me is one night I had a very bad experience, and I felt like I was falling in hell, and I was dying, and I wanted to die because I didn't want to go to hell, of course. But it was an experience. I think it was not a dream, actually, because I was not dreaming. I was not sleeping. It's a very
Like a lucid vivid dream.
it's a very strange experience. It's something I could not even imagine. It was possible to do an experience like that. And after the day after, I felt I had no more faith.
Okay, so
I lost the faith. And actually, I didn't write it in the book, but I went to speak with my spiritual father, and I said I had this experience. And actually, he said he accepted, and he said, I asked God to make the same experience because I want to understand what happened to you. And I left the convent. I had a meeting in his convent in the monastery. And after, I think, 1 or 2 months, he called me and he said, please come, I have something to tell you. And he said he was not climbing, he was, walking in the mountains. And suddenly he felt like pushed down in the pit. And he fell in a pit, and he was discovered after he doesn't know how many time he spent in the bottom of this pit, but he was rescued and he was taken to hospital. He was in the hospital for maybe 10 days or something like that, and because he was badly injured. And he said, I lost the faith too, but I mean, I swear to Jesus that I will never betray him. So I will go on. I will go on doing what I swear to do. And I really have a great respect for that choice, because I mean, that's not what I did, but
as well.
it's not easy to do what he did.
No, no,
So
completely.
I have a big respect.
No, of course.
Actually, he was he became a bishop afterwards, and
Bishop.
he was yeah, and he was killed.
Oh,
He
oh,
was
oh.
killed. He was killed. He was
Okay.
killed by an Islamic extreme
Okay, yeah, streamer.
insurgent. Yeah, yeah.
That's that's a,
But and yeah, yeah. It, he's a man I deeply respect. I mean, I don't you know, of course, I can't say I'm a Christian,
okay.
but I respect
There,
the real. I mean, the people
given
who
that faith,
follow with
respect,
humble
and
spirit,
among yeah,
yeah, and respect. I
yeah,
mean, a respectful Christian, I respect.
of course.
A very respectful Muslim, I respect,
Exactly, exactly.
because it's not easy to do what they do.
Yeah, of course.
I I do not respect the people who pretend to be better than other people, and
Okay.
they try to oppress the other people
Yeah,
because they think they are right, they have the good ideas, they think
exactly.
um, they are on the side of the good, and everything else
And
is
everything is
evil, and
bad.
etc. etc.
Yeah,
That
just
people I don't
purely.
like.
And I
But
think that these are your own thoughts and these are your own idea. We can, but of course, this is coming back a little bit to Bulldozer. We can hear that as well in the music and in the songs and in the
of
melody.
course, of
That's
course, of
why
course.
Bulldozer is different than many other. I don't want to say extreme, but many metal, not even metal, just say it's bands, because they are an open-minded way of seeing and
Yeah,
respectful. That's what bulldozer are. That's why in Italian, in Italy, people who follow the music, bulldozer is an institution, are an institution. So you are like that. I mean, I'm not. If I go here in the first meetup venue tonight and I go to say, oh, I had an interview with AC Wild, they love bulldozer. That's it. There should be one reason for that, because, like you said, being humble and keep the respect for the others.
yeah,
Being,
that's very
yeah,
important.
yeah,
Fortunately,
yeah,
yeah, fortunately, there are, you know, I met many other musicians who are humble and are very respectful, and they're very nice people.
yeah, of course.
I worked with Dave Lombardo, with
Yeah,
I'm a good friend of Tom Araya, you know,
then
uh,
the musicians,
Mantas is,
Mantas,
uh, yeah, but
yeah,
there are many,
it's humble,
many good,
yeah,
yeah, many good
and all
musicians.
these, and of course, let's say for the viewers and that will see this interview, all these tips that you are saying, they will find it in the books in detail with pictures. So it's good to say that as well, an amazing picture as well, of course. But the book is written, I think, mainly by you. But I read, for example, that there is one chapter or more than one that even
Yeah,
Andy wrote
yeah,
or
exactly.
contributed to wrote. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
also
because
there is other someone else as well who collaborate in the writing of the book.
no, I mean, only I wrote the whole book.
Okay.
Actually, in the Italian version, there was a prefacio. I don't know
Yeah, but
in
there is a here as
I
well,
don't
I
know
guess.
prefazione. I don't know in English. It's
Introduction.
before the introduction, and
Oh
it
no, no,
was
it's
written
not
by
here.
Vincenzo Barone. I mean, a very great friend,
Okay.
and but unfortunately he died. Uh,
Like a way to go to
yeah,
keep his memory
he
alive.
was one of the main writer of the magazine HM, which was
Yeah,
very
yeah,
the main Italian
yeah.
magazine,
He
metal
died.
magazine.
He died not recently, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, recently
Yeah,
he
I
had
read that.
I think he had a heart attack. Yeah,
Yeah, I read
he
that,
was
and there
younger
was
than me.
all the Italian metal scene, like mourning is lost. Yeah, I read that. Read that. That's really sad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was a
yeah, I
very nice
remember.
person,
Yeah,
very intelligent, very good writer, and actually. um, the publisher of the first edition Italian version,
Okay.
and me asked him to make this preface. I don't know
Okay,
in
let's
English.
say the part before the introduction. So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
the
easier,
part
it's
before the
easier.
introduction. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Unfortunately, that was the introduction to the
Okay.
Italian version, so I did
Okay.
not translate that. So you find his writing
Okay.
only in Italian, in the Italian.
How we use
Uh,
Google Translate to Italian to English, they can use it to Italian to any type of language. To I mean, they can translate to Italian sometimes as well. It's important our language too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but when when I asked to translate the English version, I wanted to, let's say, check every single part. And not only me, only also another friend, Max Muzzioli,
Okay.
who is good. Let's say, production manager of many mellow shows
Yeah.
in Italy. He works for Vertigo, and
Yeah. The big,
he
big,
knows
big
English very
organization. Yeah.
well. He's a very good friend. He knows Bulldozer very well,
Yeah.
and I asked also him to check if the translation
Social
uh,
was right.
was
Right.
proper. I mean, because
Yeah.
some concepts were not easy to be
Yeah, of
translated.
course. Yeah, yeah, of course. Because it's like always a thought to change in another language, but it's anyway like a bold choice because I had to really I interviewed and spoke about the other bios written, but not by the band, by other writers, which is always different because it's your thoughts as member of as musician, founder of the band to put it on the paper then of course an amazing bio. I'm not saying amazing bios and amazing writers, but all in Italian. So you bet on put it outside in other languages. So that's something really brave. Of course, the other as writers are good as well, but like that's a brave choice you did. So chapeau for that. But of course, I mean,
Yeah, unfortunately, I could not do the same with the Polish version, so I have to
it's not
trust
difficult
what they
for
did.
Polish to. Yeah, it's
But
not difficult.
I gave them the English version,
Yeah,
so they translated from English
yeah,
to Polish, and the Spanish version was I think very well done because the translator, she's a girl called Mar. She's degreed in philosophy, in
okay.
literature. So she's
So what is
very
easy for her
intelligent,
to
very
that?
smart.
Okay,
She's from, I think, Valencia, and she translated into Castilian
yeah,
Spanish,
yeah,
traditional Spanish.
yeah.
And she knows a little bit of Italian. She
Okay,
knows English very well. She has a
so
degree
that's why
and a
compare
master
us
in
for that.
English too.
Yeah.
So, and when she had some doubt, she was writing me, "What do you mean by
With
telling this?"
that, there was a
So,
collaboration as well. So it's like
yeah, it was a very
from a
good
book, it
collaboration. Yeah,
became also a huge, like a family network, something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, but
correct.
it's
Yeah,
cool. And as well, what I like is like because of course in the book there is all the amazing bio of Bulldozer that people, like I say, they can find the picture as well. The artwork is beautiful, but as well at the end is the heresy, your new philosophy. That's something really important. Like that, like we spoke before, all the topic we spoke before, people can
yeah,
understand that as well better. And maybe seeing, for the new, especially the new guys, the new girls approaching to metal and to music and to life, they can see that like as a new way of thinking for them. Maybe they are
yeah. I
reading
mean,
like,
uh,
what do I mean with Aries is my new philosophy, for example?
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, exactly. Um, I introduced the concept of heresy as a philosophy of doubting about everything. Do not accept anything for granted. Do not follow blindly any
exactly.
path.
Yeah,
Just
exactly. Exactly.
uh, use the brain, use
Exactly.
um, your conscience, and just make your choice, because
Exactly.
I mean, our brain and our conscience are like treasure, are um, the
They,
most important part of our being. Of course, the health is very
it's
important
important.
too, because without health you cannot live.
It's
But
very,
uh, I mean, the brain and the conscience are
conscious.
extremely important. So if you can discover what you have inside of
Exactly.
you, you can do a lot of things,
Exactly.
amazing things.
Yes. And
I remember the last time I played in, I think it was Metal Italia Festival.
okay.
Uh, a guy from a Scandinavian band, I don't remember exactly which band, and he came to me and said, "What kind of drug you take to be so powerful when you are on stage? Because you are amazing. You know, you have extraordinary
Yeah.
power, and you're not young." I said, "Okay, I the only drug I have is my conscience.
Yeah. But
I don't
you spread this
just
message.
I
Spread this
find
message.
the power
Spread.
inside
Yeah.
me, not outside
That's
me. I don't need anything
yeah.
else
Well, that's
to
what I'm
get
seeing
the
as
power."
well. Like band like Bulldozer or Necrodeath as well. For
Yeah,
me, as Ada, personally speaking, Bulldozer and Necrodeath are the big band that we have in Europe and in Italy as well. I mean, without that, without you and Necrodeath, probably all the extreme metal we have in Europe, they wouldn't exist. I know completely. I speak, of course, Venom, of course,
yeah, of course, of course. I
but of
would
course, I
mention
mean,
also Death SS,
yeah,
which
that possess, of course, sadist as well, of course, but of course, again,
yes,
yeah,
of course, of course, of
yeah.
course. Yeah,
But
yeah. We,
I'm
we
speaking for
we we gave
myself,
our
just as
contribute, of
Ada.
course,
Yeah,
of
I'm
course.
speaking from Ad because, of course, I started to listen to Bulldozer and Necrodeath when I was, a teenager. At the beginning, seeing them, yeah, for example, even Necrodeath live, you can see all this huge energy, and then maybe you think, oh, what just did take some drugs? No, this is how it is. Just the freedom of being who they are, like Bulldozer being who they are.
Exactly,
And that's
exactly,
why
exactly.
with musicians like, for example, Mantos is still friends with
Yeah, Mantas
Bulldozer,
is exactly. Yeah,
Necrodeath.
exactly. He doesn't drink. He
No,
smokes only cigarettes, and he's
let's say,
taekwondo black belt like me.
let's say
And
that to the people from Palermo, please.
yeah,
Like a huge
he
shout
didn't.
out.
Yeah, he's. But also, let's say, I remember just when I was talking with Tom Araya in the late 80s.
Okay,
He told me something which impressed me, and he said, "I really care about giving my best when I play live." That's
exactly.
what he told me. I think it was
Exactly.
'89 or something, because I became their friends
Around
in
that
the late
period.
'80s,
Right. Yeah.
and he said the only once I felt ashamed because he drank 2 beers before a show, and he
Sure.
felt he didn't give
Yes.
his best. He
Yeah.
said, "People is here to have the best of me," and
Yeah.
that
That's
concert,
true.
because of 2 beers,
He was unable.
he was not perfect. He was
That's
not exactly what he wanted to be, and he felt not good for that. And I
that's
was impressed by what he said, what he told me,
yeah.
because he
Yeah.
said that's
Yeah. Yeah, that's being humble as
that's
well.
a
I mean,
really
big,
remarkable. Yeah.
big from Mariah, like big but humble as well. Yeah, before ending the interview, just wanted to ask you where people can find the copy of the book to order it. It's, I don't know,
Uh,
on Amazon or there's some specific link to it. I'm on Amazon,
Yeah,
just
unfortunately, I don't know exactly how.
where.
I feel ashamed for that, but I'm not taking care of the Bulldozer merch, Bulldozer
Okay,
release. But I think that um, the same management
okay,
who is selling tapes,
okay, for the
merch,
band itself.
official Bulldozer merch,
Okay,
has already the English
version.
version
Okay.
ready to be
I, I
shipped
will I
and
will look
sold.
for that and put it like always in the info in the description box. It's not a
Yeah,
problem. That
because
But I
if
wanna,
you
yeah,
see, I have just I have no Instagram. I have just let's say Facebook account. I make a post every month, one, because I really
in the social.
I'm not so excited with the
Yeah,
social. I feel like not.
there's not too much. It's not like you don't
Yeah,
boost
I
your
mean,
life.
I don't
Of
like
course,
to make posts.
yeah,
It's
boring.
I think it's not a choice. It's just the
No,
way
no, no.
I am.
Of course,
I should do at least I should let's say
be more active. But I
yeah,
think it's
I should
not.
yeah just
Mhm.
communicate my ideas or my
Yeah, of course.
uh,
That's and you
yeah,
did it
but
for
I
an
will.
amazing
I
book.
try. I try to do better in the future. I will try.
Oh, you did have an amazing word in the book. I mean, for someone reads the book, understand as well your mainly your way of thinking, and mainly as well the point of view of Bulldozer as well. The like I said, the lyrics as well. So that's something big. If in the future you want to be more present at the social, I mean, I reach you out by through the social. That's how you reach out. So that's easy, simple, easy as out. So simple. So what can I say? Yes, you are, Alberto. It was really a pleasure again to have this interview, and I will hope really someday to do it live instead of this problem audio whatever we had today. But really to have it live, which is always the best thing. And I hope, I don't know if you are planning to play in Italy with Bulldozer. Hopefully, well, maybe again someday sooner. I will come and see you live, so we can make a nice interview with all of you. And maybe even Nako that you will make a huge interview with all. I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean, I think this year maybe
okay,
uh, is not probable because
okay,
actually I'm not taking care of the
okay, okay.
live
On the live as well.
activity because I once I was doing that, but recently I asked a manager to take care of.
Take
It's the
care of
same
that.
manager of Death SS,
Okay,
and I think this year we will play mainly in the Americas.
okay,
We
okay,
in September we do a couple of festivals in June and July in
okay,
Poland and the Czech Republic,
okay,
um, and then in November I think we might play in Sweden or I don't
okay.
know. I have no nothing is confirmed. I just
It's
can
just a,
confirm
okay.
now the Brazil, United States, and
Europe.
Canada.
But that doesn't tell a lot of plans anyway. It's a huge
But
action.
I hope to go back to Sicily. I've been to
Oh,
Catania.
to come
I
back to
think in
Palermo after.
2012 or something like that.
Yeah, when you have to come back to Sicily, give me a call. I will arrange that. Because we have
Okay.
some kind of organization which are not the best, and you can ask Necrodat for that. They were really happy here. They are, I don't know, like when sometimes when a band asks me, oh, where should I go? Just ask Necrodat. They've been in Sicily with me. They were happy about it. We give a party. So just call me. Don't, that's a problem.
Thank you very
Just
much.
no,
Thank you
it
very
would
much.
be my pleasure. It would be really honor to have you back here. Sicily deserves to have better bands and better people working, especially in this field. It's not we are not so united, unfortunately. I'm here
Actually, I've never been in your city, and that's a
in
shame for me
Palermo.
because
And you,
it's a great
I'm
city
from
from the
Palermo, but yeah,
architectural and historical point of view.
but we can yeah, but we can say
It's
that
an
yeah,
amazing city, and
we can
I've never been there, you know. And just to give an idea, last year I went for the first time to Naples, which is
Naples,
another amazing
a
city.
beautiful city. Yes,
It's a really amazing city,
so we
and
can
I've
say
never
that
been before. You know, I was already over 60.
yeah, but we can say that.
That's
I
crazy,
mean,
but
we have a beautiful. Palermo is beautiful, but for example, as a poison rock, we due for this, this poor scene that is in Palermo, mainly in the big city. If you go in the countryside, you find more genuine people that loves and support music, and that's why poison rock. You can say it has its core in the, for example, Corleone and
uh,
Soprano. We have here our editor and.
living there.
Our
Nice to meet you.
editor. So for all the countryside, that's all you can find there with humble and pure people with integrity. Unfortunately, the city lost it. I mean, I'm speaking about from here. I don't know the other places, but speaking from here. That's why if I have to go to some concerts, or it's, I don't know, Bulldozer playing in Milan, Microdot playing in Milan, or I go outside Italy. That's sad. But even for asking a pass, I have to ask to the musician from the other country, not Italy. It's really sad. Even for an interview, I have got
Yeah.
an answer once from someone from Italy said, "Oh well, if you have a friend of the musician, ask for it to the person for the pass." Like, thank you. That's the sadness of the scene. But anyway, just let's keep positive things. The book is out. That I really appreciate your time, and I wish we had more people like you in the music scene. That there are, but for the future, it's mainly for the teenage people out there. So let's talk to you soon. I will keep you updated for this interview, and we will make it like a special event for this interview. And if you have any suggestion, as always, like intros and outros, we will talk about in Facebook. Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Wild.
Thank you very much.
Talk to you soon then.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you very much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Mayor